everyone. As Julian already said, I am Eva Dohnálková, I'm from Prague, and you are right, because through the HbbTV we can provide a lot of content for our viewers and also the special ads for our customers.
Florian Moritz is the Director of Product and Partner Management at Goldbach Media. Now you're based in Switzerland, I think, but you cover the whole of the DACH region.
Hello? Is it right? Goldbach is a Swiss-based company, but they have affiliates in Austria as well as in Germany, and I'm from Vienna and I represent Goldbach Austria here. And we are an ad sales house, so we're selling advertising to the branding and the advertising market. So we do it for linear TV as well for any kind of advanced TV, connected TV, and all these kinds of things we are going to discuss.
You must have seen the evolution in your business over the last, particularly over the last couple of years, I'd say, yes. Probably seeing the signs of it a little further back.
That's what we did, definitely, and it's more to discuss.
Okay, we'll do that. Thomas Deklo is Head of Sport, Fast, EMEA and APAC at Harmonic. A couple of things come out of your title. First of all, 3 acronyms. But the really interesting thing to me is that as a technology company, you're titled as Head of Sport and Fast, which is quite an interesting way of positioning things.
Hello? Yes. Yeah, so there are actually synergies between the 2 verticals. I'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah, so Harmonic is probably a familiar name to a few of you. We have been at the forefront of video tech for 3 decades. And an increasing part of what we're doing right now is helping our customers leverage the cloud for their video processing and delivery needs. Sorry. So we are across what it takes to basically build the stream, manipulate the stream, personalize the stream, and that includes inserting targeted ads. And that's one of the angles that I will explain what we mean with that, the robustness, the scalability, and addressability that we're bringing across.
Okay, finally, Francesco Barbarani, who is Director of Digital at RAI. Now, this is the advertising and commercial part of the Italian public broadcaster.
Okay, thank you, Julian. Thank you, the Taxis, for the invitation. Yes, it's a crucial moment in Italy and in RAI. You know, RAI is a public company, so we have a huge channel on linear TV, on free-to-air, of course, and we have more or less 30% share on prime time, on classic television, on a daily basis. So this is a huge number of people on the Italian market, and in the same time, we have to be very focused on new technology and digital platform. We launched RAI several years ago. It's growing very well. So the challenge now, the crucial moment is the challenge for us, for a public company so big on the Italian market as RAI, is to find the right balance between classic television audience and digital, technical, new data and profile. So it's a very, very strategic to find the right position for the advertiser, because just to give you an idea, the number of digital advertisers is going very well. In the same period, Q1, also television on RAI going very, very well. So we try to find this kind of balance between contemporary audience, a little bit older on television, as you can imagine, with the younger and complementary audience on digital. So,
I remember when digital started the first time around, when we went from analog channels to digital channels, RAI, like a number of broadcasters, opened up a few, never know the name for them, maybe side channels, digital channels, just expanding the number of linear channels that you had. Are you now kind of going through the same process, if you like, with catch-up and on-demand services?
Yeah, there's an important activity from digital team in Rome. We start to create a huge number of original content just for the digital platform. But when we talk on digital content, it's quite wrong to say original and digital. It's better to talk about digital first. We had some tests. We launched television content before on the digital platform, just to give you an idea, we have a very important fiction series for young people we launched 2 months ago, and we make this experiment for Italian market. We have 12 episodes, and we launch first part of the set-top box, 6 episodes before on digital and then on television. After 6 episodes on television, we launch the last 6 episodes on digital, and at the end of the digital period, we launch the final episode on television. Just to give you an idea about, if I can, Julian, about the number, we have had a huge number of video streams on digital, and the most important thing is that 74% of the digital viewers are younger than 35 years old. That means, just to give you an idea, the television audience is 1.23 billion, is in prime time content. But just to give an idea about the digital project, the digital incremental complementary young audience, we had 10 million views on a daily basis once we launched the first part of the set-top box. So, in terms of advertising, we start to create a bundle to support the premium content that RAI has with the profile and the complementary audience between digital and television, television and digital.
And I guess that's important. A lot of linear broadcasters, but I think this is something that affects public broadcasters in particular, and that's getting a younger audience. So being able to do that, I guess, pleases the audience, it pleases the bosses at RAI, but also pleases the advertisers as well, because they're able to reach a segment that you wouldn't have been able to give them previously, or at least not in those numbers.
Yeah, consider, Julian, that we have a double jump as we are analyzing the target on digital platform, that means more or less small screen, tablet, PC and mobile, and then of course we can have an offer just for the connected TV, and connected TV users are younger than digital device. So we talk about digital, we talk about total digital, and we talk about total video, and the convergence of the screen. There are no borders between the screen. We move on the market with a very, very simple sales approach. We have premium content, so we push the language and the message of the advertiser with the emotion of the value and the content, and at the same time, we can follow the target of the company and the advertiser. Just to give you an idea, then I break it. We have 23 million subscribers on digital RAI Play. 23 million. And we have 6,000 content on our library. So once that you match 23 million user, subscriber, first party data, it's very important, and we cross with 6,000 content, that means sport, documentary, fiction, entertainment, news, theatrical, you have a very, very profile cluster of the audience. So you can match the premium content with premium value with a very, very profiled audience. Not linear, not digital audience.
And just briefly, because I want to come to Eva to get the sort of check and commercial perspective. As a public broadcaster, some take advertising, some don't. Do you have any restrictions that are placed on you in terms of advertising that you can sell? And is there any difference between linear channels and what you can do on demand?
Yeah, consider that we have a specific percentage of advertising on our daily basis, and reduced in the last 2 years, so a very small time on a daily basis dedicated for the advertising on the linear channel. On digital, we don't have any restriction, fortunately, but we set a very, very small break layout. Just to give you an idea, on digital we have just a break 60 seconds at maximum 2 spots, and with exclusive sector, this kind of break line layout support very well our KPI in terms of viewability, ETR, and so on. But on digital we are completely free.
Okay. Eva, tell me a little bit more about what's happening right now with TV Nova, and in particular, are you able to do things a little bit differently on demand that you might have previously done on linear channels?
I have to agree with Francisco that in total video, we also can see that the linear SVOD and AVOD together is growing, and especially SVOD is very fast in the growing in the Czech Republic, on the Czech market. And as you already mentioned, the restriction in the VOD platform are less strict than on the linear TV, because on the linear TV we have some time restriction and also the other restrictions, but in VOD we can deliver interesting campaigns and also the special campaigns for our customers. And thanks to HbbTV, we can combine VOD and the linear screen, and we can make a special advertisement. For example, the Max Reach, I already spoke about it last year, and we won the award from HbbTV company. And this special targeting depends on TV screen, if the TV device has seen or has not seen the specified content. So we can play with the targeting thanks to linear TV, and we can offer our customers special campaigns, or we can use this targeting for our marketing, for our VOD services.
And how much are you able to target? How deep can you go, if you like, in terms of, are you doing this by town, by street, or by demographic, or just based on the kind of show that's being transmitted at a particular time?
We can mix the targeting, also the geo-targeting, the station targeting, or I don't know, the device targeting, and we can combine it with this content targeting, with this Max Reach. If the TV device has seen the ad in the linear, or if the device has seen some specified content as a TV show. So we can target especially young audience, because younger audience is better for our customers. So we can...
Quite shame all these programs targeted for a younger audience. They're the ones who don't watch television. You know, it's the older people we need to cater for more.
Yeah, that's true. But we usually use the younger audience for our targeting, and we can make a mix of the content from our TV shows, and we can target just.
And does that genuinely bring in advertisers, or particularly brands? I guess some of them are maybe the same companies. But bringing in brands that you wouldn't see on linear television.
Yes, I can say yes. Yeah. And also we asked the small companies because they want to target just I don't know, the devices in Prague or close to Austrian border. So if you are a small bakery, for example, from Brno or from some small town, you can target just these devices close to the Brno, so you will not spend a lot of money for the whole country.
So it makes it cost effective for advertisers who basically they wouldn't be able to afford it, but now proportionately they can do, because they're only reaching or targeting the
local
people in
market,
their area.
yeah.
That makes sense. Florian, tell me a little bit about what advertisers are, the big brands perhaps. What are they asking for? What are they trying to get out of targeted advertising?
The advertisers always want to meet the target group, so actually the better they can address, the better, the more is the effect of the ad. So, and this was always the, so to say, issue with linear TV. You have this big spread over the whole country, over regional, and doing this in a smaller region.
As Eva was saying with her bakery, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So these things are actually not possible with linear TV. So when it comes to digital TV, it is kind of a not really true because the TV has been digital since 20 years, I think, but it's a different story. So in a digital way of booking advertising, this brings completely new opportunities for advertisers, starting with all this kind of targeting, like regional, like you can target on weather, you can target on contextual, you can target on demographics. And what you also can do, you can spend budgets on TV with little budgets, because normally if you have the nationwide coverage of a TV campaign, this costs a lot of amount of money, even in small countries like Austria. And if you have your bakery in a little town, you maybe don't want to advertise it all across the country. So, and you have like a few thousand of euros as ad budget, this can also be used very good for if you can target in a specific region.
I guess there's two sides to it. You use our bakery example again. There might be a national bakery chain which can divide up its advertising according to where the broadcast is being shown, the programme is being received, and then you get the little bakery who's out on their own, and they might think, well, now that's affordable. The difference, of course, is that you have to go and find all these small little bakeries, whereas you're probably already aware of the national chain.
Yeah, but this bakery might have a specific product for the young audience, and they might also want to reach a young audience, which is getting more and more tricky linear TV, as we all know. So as the young audience tends to move to these fast channels, tends to move to paid services, tends to move to whatever kind of digital TV consumption, you can reach this audience also when you place your ads on this kind of channels.
So we get donuts for the young and wholemeal bread for the old, or something very similar. Francesco, I guess to get all of this, it's having the data available that you can then give back the advertisers, so they know which clients need the donuts.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I can see this being ongoing feed.
So we started more or less 1 year ago to sell digital with our data. Before we worked just with contextual gaming. Once we have a huge number of content of the library, we work very well also just with contextual, so you can choose fiction on the other kind of content. But we start with data strategy. And the funny thing, I don't want to be focused on digital as I am a public company, and television pay my salary for a few months again. But the important thing is that the client now start to switch a little bit the way to send out the brief. Now start to ask profile, target, interest, specific cluster, identifying, I don't know, maybe pet lover, sustainability, sport health, food health, and so on. And we start this kind of analysis from digital. Again, we have 23 million subscribers on replay. We have first-party data, and we can enrich our number.
So when somebody signs up, one of these 3 million sign up for the first time, they're giving you some information, even if it's only name and address.
And then we follow him during the navigation.
Okay.
So, again, having such a big number of content, we can follow during navigation, and we had a lot of information again about the different content, and then we enrich also those numbers with several partners. And now we start to create the perfect planning starting from digital. So once that we receive this kind of brief with specific cluster profile and target people, we make an analysis on digital and identify the most program affinity with this kind of people, and then we replicate the planning on television. So we choose the program and the content from digital with the profile number that we have from the DMP, and then we have a sort of mirroring campaign on television classic content. In this way, we can reduce the distance between the time lapse, so we don't have prime time, because POD is all my time, as say Nego Ponte a few years.
Prime time all the time.
Yeah, a few years ago, anticipate this mood. And then you have the content that the client can choose, starting from digital, from television, and then with profiled digital aspect, we can follow this kind of audience also on the linear classic channel.
Okay, thank you. Thomas, to make all of this work, and obviously to fund it, the advertising has to go in pretty seamlessly, and I can imagine the high quality productions we're seeing everywhere these days. There's lots of standards of things that have to do this and do this and do this, but even then, I suspect you've got a bit of a task on your hands to make adverts which, as we've heard, can be very different according to who's watching, when they're watching, where they're watching, making sure that's almost part of that production.
Yeah, so we're coming very much from the perspective of making this all work from a streaming tech point of view. And we've been lucky to actually build this on helping some of the most watched sporting events and services across the world that are using our cloud technology to stream the games. That's really helped us polish the platform and reach some level of scalability that are quite unique in the marketplace. So, it's just like a single customer of us in the US who is streaming the MLB, the NHL, and the NBA. Is outputting 10 million ad impressions on a single day. That's 500 million manifest manipulation for those who understand that from a streaming tech point of view on a single daily basis. So, inserting targeted ads, it's very much, when you are at that level of viewership, it's become very much a scalability challenge to be overcome. And we work really hard with those customers to reach those levels. Even testing the platform to reach millions of concurrent users at the same time. It's also certainly bringing the robustness required, because when you're inserting targeted ads in live games, prominent live games, premium games, it has to work, right? It really has to work. And so you need to bring across a set of resiliency components, architecture design, to reach this level of availability of the system. There are a number of other challenges that are really important to especially the sports vertical. That's low latency. It's also, without talking about specific use cases, the first goal would be to be on a par with broadcast in terms of latency from the actual action in the game. And that has become an important competitive element for some of our customers to compete in the world of streaming in their own market. And you've got to work really hard to make sure that you're able to bring compatibility between targeted ad insertions and low latency streams. That takes a lot of work.
I've probably told this story before, but I live about 6 or 7 doors away from a pub. And if there was a big event on, everybody will be spilling out into the back garden of the pub. And of course, if there's something dramatic happen, there's a reasonable chance that I'll hear the cheer before I've actually seen the action. So this whole latency thing, when people say, okay, well, that's why.
Yeah, it's there's so many things to make streaming experience really fantastic to the user, but it really comes down to the basic as well, and making sure the video quality is really high, making sure that you're getting the stream with not too much delay. So that all of that takes a lot of work.
The thing I can imagine, this is obviously very much a moving target in terms of the technology and what people are doing with it is changing. There does even now seem to be a heck of a load of different providers going into RAI, maybe into ITV in the UK, into Canal FM up in Sweden. That you've got lots of different people, and Google are involved, and these people, and evening it all out, and maybe I guess sometimes even for the same broadcaster having to do several different versions of effectively the same thing. Is it sorting itself out, or is it still a little bit too much Wild West?
So you've got standardization in place, but it's as you rightly say, it's a complex.
But some people ignore standards. We know that. If certain big, not mentioning any names, but they begin with N and they're large. They do very good technology, but they're doing their own very good technology.
Yeah, I think when it takes to combining streaming stacks with ad monetization stacks, there is indeed a lot of expertise required to do those integration really well. And it goes all across the chain. So you know, it also includes client-side integration potentially, depending on the systems you're looking at. So you're absolutely right to point this out. It does require an openness in terms of the ecosystem you're willing to work with. We are pre-integrated with a lot of the main ADS servers in the world, SSP, supply-side platforms. But also you need to have a very solid team that understands the technology in and out to carry on those integration and make sure they can deploy properly. And yeah, so that's basically what we're doing in the world of advertising. The platform is called Box 360 Ad, and that's very much leveraging the robustness, quality, and scalability of our cloud solution.
Okay. Florian, what do we know about smart TV usage? I think you've got some sort of metrics that you can share on HbbTV and who and how that's being used.
Yes, what we do at Goldbach, we have been conducting research like I think 4 times in a row now, asking actually in the GSA region, what about the usage of smart TVs in the homes? And what we've seen in the last 4 years is there is obviously all the figures are increasing. So at this moment, I think like 70% of the TV homes have a smart TV in their home, all of which actually all maybe like 95% are connected to the internet, which makes them smart. So
connected to the internet and being regularly used?
Coming to that, so like 10 years ago, everybody had a smart TV, like it's a plasma or LCD flat screen, but it was not smart because it was not connected. Like this has changed dramatically, so actually all smart TVs are connected now. So out of these, like 70% of TV homes, which is for all the GSA region, as I said, 60% use all the applications, be it the BWAT stuff, be it the CTV channels, the fast channels, or whatever functionality is there, use it regularly. And for the younger audience, like younger than 40, like 16 or 19 to 39 something, they use it like 70% of them use that regularly. So, and this obviously is increasing still. So it's not that the linear usage is decreasing, but the non-linear usage is increasing significantly. When it comes to advertising, the very good thing for us as ad sales house is like 50% of the users are happy with advertising per se, so they don't think this is disturbing their TV behavior. And what's also interesting for us to learn is like 2/3 of these guys who have a subscription like Netflix, Amazon, whatever it could be, say if they could get the same thing for free, they would accept advertising. So the question now is how this is going to evolve in the future. So these guys I just mentioned, they started this and supported business in Germany, I think also in the UK and Italy, not yet in Austria. I'm not quite sure how good they are doing. What I've heard, they are still struggling with actually inventory, so the non-subscriptional users are not that many so far.
I do wonder, there's only something like a £1 difference between sort of advertising Netflix and non-advertising Netflix. So I'm thinking to myself, well, give me £5 off and I might take adverts. But I'd rather pay the £1 and not see them at the moment.
So what our research shows that people are actually ready to accept advertising as part of the game if they don't need to pay for the content itself. And what's also very interesting is that the research shows that people use it like 2.5 hours per day, which is huge. So like comparing to linear TV usage per day would be like 4 hours on average, or even slightly more than that. More than half of it is already on non-linear content, and this is actually...
Does that mean that TV viewing is actually going up? Or is TV viewing actually going up overall if you take in on-demand and broadcast TV together?
I think it's quite stable, the overall linear TV consumption, but actually the overall TV consumption. So for the consumer, it doesn't make a difference whether it's linear or it's non-linear.
No,
it's a motion picture on a big screen. That's all about it. They don't care whether it's for cable, it's satellite distribution, it's streaming services, it's called Netflix, it's called Sky, it's called Sky. They don't care. They just want to watch moving pictures on the TV screen.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Eva, I guess with HbbTV, you found that there is the ability to encourage people by using some of the the pop-ups, for example, which you can pop on a linear channel to then push people towards the on-demand services. Do you find that changes the numbers?
Yes, that's true, because 30% of TVs has HbbTV. It depends on the distribution. So we are quite lucky that it's like this amount. And through the HbbTV, we can push the button notification in the specified content, so we can inform our viewers that we have something special on the VOD, especially on SWOT. And thanks to HbbTV, we can also ask the viewers if we can ask them for whatever we want. For example, with the sport, the last year we asked our viewers if the match in Qatar is going to win Germany or Argentina. And thanks to this questionnaire, we can show the figures, how the other viewers answered, and we can inform them that this special match will be on our linear TV or our SVOD service. So thanks to this HbbTV and targeting, we can inform our viewers about our content in linear TV or SVOD service.
And do you think this is something you'll continue to do? Is there like a law of diminishing returns as people get more accustomed to using interactive service rather than linear? Will they just go there in the first place, and you won't actually, you almost have to promote, well, you wouldn't be promoting something broadcast TV for on demand, but you know what I mean? It's
I think they are enjoying, they can be part of the linear TV and they can answer the question, because I had like a 5% CTR of this question, so it's quite high.
okay.
And the people had to use blue button, green button, yellow button. It was not the red button anymore. So I think it's quite interesting with the numbers that the people can use also the different colors, and they want to be part of our TV.
Interesting. Thomas, fast channels. How long have we got? 45 minutes into the conference, and our first official mention of fast channels. But they are growing as a part, or at least they appear to be certainly growing at conferences. I still need to be sold on them. But people tell me it's in the States particularly popular.
So I think there will be a lot of discussions later today on that topic, which is a fascinating topic to me. It's a new emerging vertical that delivers a lot of promises, I would say.
But people are making the call to Harmonic and say we want fast channels. Bring us your best equipment to do this.
Yeah, so we are already involved with channels that have been launched on some of the main fast platforms. So we are lucky to be building on market-leading components to be able to offer a complete workflow to content owners who want to launch a channel. We also partners with ad monetization partners so that we can bring along the monetization piece. So really the full stack solution for channel publishers who want to go after this new opportunity. And I think we are still at the very beginning of this market, but it's fascinating. I think the level of creation, the level of opportunities from the eyeball standpoint, like being able to reach some actually view niche contents that are very, very relevant to some smaller audience, but also some larger, more mainstream topics and programs. So it's very, I think, broad already in terms of offering, and it's growing fast, right? Really, I think you're looking at just in the US, it's more than 1,600 channels. Overall, the market is around 4 billion, and it's expected to reach 12 billion in the next few years. In relative terms, when you look at the overall online advertising, it's still a relatively small piece, of course. But what's interesting is the growth, right? Is the growth there.
And again, it's relatively cheap, because it's content you already have. If you've got, 100 episodes of an old US Western hanging around, you can pop them on a fast channel, and it will make some people very happy.
Yeah, so
I'm not one of them.
I think there is work really involved with programming those channels. I'll talk about automating this a little bit, but I think still there is a lot of work involved for the publishers to analyze how the programming is performing and really continuously improve that. But from a tech standpoint, I think the OTT ecosystems have really brought affordability to channel publishers to be able to launch different channels, some very niche, and reach a niche audience. That's also opportunities for buyers, for advertisers, obviously, to reach such audience. It's an opportunity to create pop-up channels. All of that will become possible from a cost point of view. So yeah, it's, I think it's the beginning of a journey. Some call that the next cable or TV 3.0. We will see, but certainly it's off to a good start, I think.
Then, Francesco, you're already looking at sort of monetizing, I think, some fast TV channels. You've been working, well, this is in my notes now, you've been working with Vivo TV, you've been working with them.
We are studying fast channel, Julian, to be honest, because we signed a very important agreement with Vivo. Probably everybody knows the music platform, the leader on international market, the partnership between Sony and Universal. And we set this kind of agreement for several reasons. Two of the most important is that we are really focused on music as a company with the program. We manage Sanremo, the most important song events in Italy, with a huge number of audience on television and digital side. We drive 3 radio, Radio Rai, Radio Italia, and Radio Kiss Kiss. So we are really focused also on radio, podcast, and so on. And we want to be very strong also on digital. So we set this kind of agreement on the Italian market with Vivo. Vivo support us also in second point with the complementary audience. Just to give an idea, Vivo in Italy has 23 million users and 92% is younger than 55 years old. So this is another boost for us. And they are very strong on the American market on a fast channel. Of course, they are moving faster than Europe and in Italy. But in Italy, they have at the moment 2 channels on Samsung TV Plus. And they are studying with them the best way to move on the market and positioning again the advertising, because as you know, the break is different with respect to the pre-roll, of course. But the stranger and important thing is to find the best way to put this kind of offer in a right position on the Italian market, also with the YouTube classic offer. So at the moment, we are working on this. We are working on technology and identify the best strategy to move on the market. If we have to be focused on the big screen, the different approach, the different user experience, and so we are starting on this, and we are sure that we will find the best solution, and also to integrate the Vivo fast offer also with Rai Play classic offer.
Fine, I think you've got some more numbers as well. Once more on fast TV. Who's watching so far?
I think everybody's watching, and in particular the younger audience, as we said already. I mean, from an advertising perspective, fast channels give you new opportunities which haven't been there in the past. So you have, on one hand, you have a big screen environment, you have a brand safe environment, you have all the digital processes of advertising. So you can have all the KPIs, like what's the visibility, what's the video through rate, you have it as a reasonable CPM. So, and you have target groups. You have a lot of target groups. Like you can target by, as we said before, by demographics. You can target by reach. We can also target by the content environment itself, as the offer is so huge. So you have brands like Comedy Central, with brands like Nickelodeon. You have brands like all Discovery, Warner Brothers, all these big media brands, TV brands, they are all already in the fast environment, so you can watch their content on various fast channels. So it's a lot of opportunities also for the advertising industry. So you can get closer to your target group as you could do in the linear TV business.
And is it going to be the big channels with their big brands, or is there also is there the opportunity for the little guy here?
Yeah, I mean, there are various new players in the market actually. So there are the old traditional media branches, as I said, Paramount and Discovery and all of them. But there are also these guys like the manufacturers. So Samsung, probably the most biggest brand in that environment. They launched their TV Plus service a couple of years ago, and if you are a small publisher in a country like Austria, you can go to Samsung and ask them to transport your CTV channel, and they will just do it by the means of inventory sharing. So you don't need to pay them literally money, but you just give them your inventory. So even as a small content provider or TV publisher, you have now the opportunity to get to your audience, which is much more convenient than renting a satellite frequency at Astra, because this costs a huge amount of money. So it's much more efficient.
Got a couple of minutes left. I quickly wanted to mention addressable TV, if we can. I'll quickly start with you, Florian. I know Thomas also has something to say on this. This is running right now on set-top boxes in Austria. Which companies are doing this?
So addressable TV means a lot of things. So just saying addressable TV, if you mean like switching ads, display ads by HbbTV, this is up and running. Maybe it's not the most sophisticated kind of thing you can do. What we are working on together with the biggest telco in Austria, which is A1, the biggest IPTV cable operator in Austria, working on a a dynamic ad insertion platform. So this is kind of a beta phase as we speak. So we are testing and saying that Thomas might know that it's not so easy. There are a lot of things to consider, and testing is still to continue. But we aim to launch the whole business on like 400,000 set-top boxes by the end of this quarter, which is like in a couple of weeks actually, so still ambitious. And this has two main effects. One is it offers these long-tail channels, which we don't have an advertising window for the Austrian market yet, in order to monetize their advertising locally in Austria or regionally in Austria. On the one hand, on the other hand, for the advertising business, you have all these targeting opportunities again. You can target local, you can target demographics, you can target the weather, you can target events like football match or whatsoever. And you can also have, again, with small budgets, you can get your advertising on air or actually on stream. And this is something we are looking forward to starting, like, as I said, in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Yeah, and more to come. And what we also plan to do, which is another story, so this is based on cable, actually IPTV. What we also plan to do is to add insertion or to substitute ad blocks on satellite transmission by HbbTV on not set-top boxes, but the TV set themselves. So there is a lot of technology out there which can be used, but still not in a perfect shape that it actually works, but we are working on that.
That sounds good. And Thomas, you have a way of putting this into terrestrial as well via HbbTV.
Yeah, so I mean, just to, I talk a lot about OTT. I think we're very bullish on streaming. We're proud of the record-breaking metrics we deliver. I haven't mentioned that, but just a single customer who streamed the FIFA World Cup with our tech reached 11 million concurrent streams during the final. So those are really big scale numbers that we're looking at in streaming right now, right? But we're still heavily involved in broadcast technologies, and that's still a very big part of our business. So there are different areas of innovation in this space. So if we talk about HbbTV to bring addressable advertising here, so of course we made our broadcast hand compatible with that in a way that we can help convert the signaling to something that is usable by a TV set and the software you need to talk to the ad servers. So we bring that kind of capabilities. We're also exploring how to leverage our ad insertion capabilities into hybrid models. Some of that for IPTV networking as well. So there are work ongoing into leveraging also what we are doing in streaming and to apply that to some level to the broadcast world. So that's continuous work for us as well.
Well, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everyone. As always with these things, I've got more questions left and I have no time in which to ask them. But, so thank you all very much.